I'm back with some more books. So for February, I can't even say February, I can't say it. I didn't read 12 books like I did in January. I read 5, but you gotta give me a break. January, we had, a break, and I was off of school, but then February hit, and is a different story. Let's just get right into it. The first book I read this month was Legendary, and this is the second book in the Caraval series. Caraval I read last month, but I absolutely love this series. Love it. This book was so good. But Caraval was Scarlett's story, and this one is Donatella's story, and it also includes Legend, hence the name Legendary. Legend is the ruler of the Caraval, which is like a game that people play, and it's scary. Donatella and Legend kind of have like this little romance going on, and it's really interesting. In this season, Tella actually plays Caraval, and so she realizes, oh my god, Scarlett, a lot of stuff goes down, and she takes things like seriously. She just meets a lot of fates, and they're kind of like, they have like different powers or something, and she meets one guy, Prince of Hearts, Jax, which is in Once Upon a Broken Heart. She goes through different relationships, and she finds the truth out about her mother, who has been missing for a couple years, and she's like not who she thought she was. And in this book, you also find out who Legend is, and I was completely shocked. Like, I thought I knew who it would be, but then when it was actually revealed, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. It would be that person. But the ending had me like gasping and just like so shocked at the end. I couldn't believe it. So I gave Legendary 5 stars. I was like, I need to read the next book right now. So the next book I read was Finale, which is the last book. I gave 5 stars. This whole series, I think I just gave them all 5 stars. This book was crazy. So much happened. It goes between Scarlett's and Donatella's perspective, which I really like. I finished this in literally one day. It took me 9 hours, but it's like a pretty thick book. The fates I explained in the last book, they escaped from these cars that they were trapped in, and so there's just fates going everywhere, creating chaos and mayhem, and everyone's like freaking out. Both of the relationships between Donatella, Legend, and Scarlett and Julian, they go through rough patches of both good and bad. There were so many scenes that I was just shocked. I couldn't believe they were like actually happening. Like, this whole series, my jaw has been on the floor. I absolutely love this book and this whole series, and I was really happy to learn a lot more about Jax, because in Once Upon a Broken Heart we don't really get a lot of context, but I got it from this, and I was really excited. Like, I was like, oh, that's why he does that, or whatever. All of my books are starting to blend together, I'm gonna be honest here. Next book, going along with the fantasy theme, I read The Cruel Prince. Now, this is like giant on TikTok or Book Talk or whatever, but I got this a long time ago, like very long ago, and I read like 20 pages and I just wasn't into it, so I put it down, and then I decided I was gonna read it again. And it was just so hard for me to get into it. It was just, I don't know, it was very slow, and things were like very confusing for me. But it really drew me in towards the end. And then I was like, okay, I get it. I get the hype. But still, like, some scenes I'm like, I don't get what's happening. So the main character, Jude, lives in this land called Fairy, which has like weird people in it. Like, they have blue skin or pink skin and like pointed ears, and they have like magical powers. They can make humans do whatever they want, and Jude is a human as well as her twin sister, but they have an older sister, Vivian, who is a fairy. Her dad comes along and kills Jude's and her twin sister's parents. I can't think of their name, so they have to move to Fairy. Anyway, they're the only humans in there, and people like get them to do what they want. They just want to be like everyone else. They just want to fit in, but the people are making it really hard for them because they can make them do whatever they want. Like, they have to salt their food, because if they just eat the food, they like get high or something, and people can manipulate them. Jude, she like fights a lot. She's like a knight, and she kills some people, and I'm like, whoa, girl, okay. And there's like an underlying tension between her and Prince Carden, which this book title is about. Prince Carden, he has a tail, which is very weird, but they like each other, but in like a I hate you kind of way. It's very confusing. But there's like this big twist at the end. I'm not sure if I want to read the sequel. The end really caught me, like drew me in, but I don't know. I gave it 3 stars because I'm not sure about it. I like it. It was good. It was kind of like fighting scenes, and there was a lot of action and drama and mystery, but I don't know. I don't know if I'll read the sequel. Not sure. Next book, I went out of my fantasy kick and went back into romance, and I read Secretly Yours. Now, I got this at Target. It's like a Target exclusive. This was such a cute book. So this is Hallie and Julian. She's like the sunshine and he's the grumpy, and you can pretty much tell what happens at the end. It's a really cute story. It's really easy to follow along. She has a flower business and he is an author. She does his garden for him, and they meet and they both like really like each other. She used to know him in her past and she was like obsessed with him, in love with him, but he didn't know that, she liked him. I just really like the fact that they were just both secretly obsessed with each other and, didn't really know that the other one was. It was pretty repetitive. I was just like, okay, yes, they both like each other. Can you just like get them together already? But it seemed like she was in love with him because he, did a lot of things and he was very selfless, and he only liked her because of her hot bod. And I'm just like, oh, okay. Like, sure, physical attraction is one thing, but he doesn't really explain why he likes her, like, as a person. Not just because she looks good, but like her as a person. So I was like, oh, I don't know about that. But overall, I thought it was a really cute, just feel good kind of story. It just feels like a warm hug, and it really dives into like anxiety, how it really affects a person. So I like that it like went into that. But I gave it 3 stars. I definitely read it again. The last book I could go on and on and on about. I loved this, and I have the most info about it because I literally just finished it like a few days ago, so it's fresh on the brain. In a New York minute, anything New York themed, I'm buying it. Franny is the main character, and she got laid off her job, and she goes to the subway, and her dress rips, and then like her butt's out to the whole world, and some guy she calls Hot Suit comes and gives her his jacket to help like cover up. And then they get filmed by some girl on the train. She posts them and says like, oh my god, these people are so cute. Then they meet and they go on a talk show, and they really don't hit it off. Like, it's really awkward, but they just keep like spontaneously meeting each other, and they have like these connections through different people. I couldn't stop smiling. Every page I was just smiling and giggling. And it's just such like a cute, feel-good story. And again, it feels just like a little hug. There's like a constant will they, won't they kind of question going on. Something will happen and you're like, okay, they're definitely gonna like kiss and get together. And then something will happen and draw them apart. It's so obvious that they both like each other. It's obvious to everyone but them. They're second guessing themselves and saying, oh, she doesn't like me, he doesn't like me. I also really liked the second love story between Franny's best friend Lola and Hayes' cousin Perrine. They get together. It was a slow burn for sure. Like, it really drawed out their love story. They were friends first, and then they like worked together because she's an interior designer. He works at like an office firm or whatever, and she designs this office for him. And so they're just hanging out for months together, and they really like each other's company. And I really like that they drawn it out like for months instead of other books where it's like weeks or like a few days and they're like, oh my god, I love you. It just made the story seem a lot more real and accurate, and I just love this book. I contemplated giving it like 5, so I'm just gonna give it 4.5 stars because I just loved it so much. Something about it though is like pulling me back from giving it 5 stars, but definitely go read this. I love it so much. Those are all of the books I read. I only read 5. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Definitely go read a book or two. Bye!